I'm so glad that you're I'm so glad that you're here. Hopefully you've heard about uBEATS. If not, you're in a great spot to learn more. And the hope is just that you'll find value with this resource. And we'll talk through ways that hopefully you can get this implemented into your instruction. So let's go ahead. I should probably say what uBEAT stands for. I forget to do this all the time, but uBEAT stands for UNMC, which is University of Nebraska Medical Center, and UNO, which is University of Nebraska Omaha. We're a collaborative partnership together, building excellence in academics through STEM. We really focus in heavily on that that science part with the health science lens. So I really like to give credit to the uBEATS team. We're a very small, but we're a mighty group. And so, as you know, I'm Deanna Ingram. My official title is the Curriculum and Education Specialist for the program. So usually any emails, your logins, if you decide to enroll, that all will come from me. I like to say I'm the people-facing person, and then that other lady over there, Zuzi, she is the behind the scenes person, really building our quality modules and doing all of our data analytics and all those pieces that are not my skill set. So I'm very lucky to have her. And then we both report to our director of e-learning, Peggy Moore. And so we're housed here in Omaha, Nebraska on the University of Nebraska Medical Center campus. We have our office, which is the Office of E-Learning. A lot going on here with all of our colleges. So we do e-learning for College of Medicine, College of Pharmacy, but uBEATS falls in its own bucket in terms of what we're able to offer for 6th through 12th graders. So today I'd really like to just give you an overview of what uBEATS is, what are those pillars of who we are and what we offer. We are housed on Canvas. Please don't let that scare you. I know a lot of teachers use Google Classroom or other learning management systems. We just house our material on Canvas. You don't have to be an active Canvas user to utilize uBEATS. And then how do we get started? We have some really great things that we're starting up here with uBEATS, some new material that we're offering. And so I will share all of those pieces with you. I do like to take just a quick minute just to share with you kind of our milestones and how we came to be. You can see we just got started in 2018 and we launched in 2020. What a year to launch an e-learning resource for teachers. But we've been able to really grow and develop this resource for our students and our teachers really well through the addition of more e-learning modules and health science and science topics, upgrades. We released just this past year Canvas badges or micro-credentials. And so we just continue to grow and really see incredible milestones happening along the way. But getting into why you're here, so what is uBEATS? Here's this overview for you. So in the title of this webinar, it said, who doesn't love free? As a teacher, that was a key word for me. Free, 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 I'll take it. I don't care what it is. But thankfully with uBEATS, we're free and we're also a high quality resource for you. So there is no cost to enroll in uBEATS to you, to your school, to your district. This is all in huge thanks to our generous donors that fund us and make this available for you. So no contracts that have to be signed. We hope that you sign up and that you love it and you use it. If you don't, then you can always not enroll the following year, but no obligation to stay or to keep going with us, but we do hope you will. So we're free interactive online modules. Again, our target audience is 6th through 12th grade. We typically see a lot of our teachers utilize uBEATS in the high school, especially with career academies, or pathway programs, anything like that. However, this year we have seen a really large uptick in middle school. I think that's a huge part into this career exploration piece, and that's one of the topic areas that we're really proud to offer e-learning modules in. Right now, I just checked in with Zuzi right before this to get the most accurate number of modules that are in our course. And as of today, we're at 98 modules that we're able to offer you all for free, again, in those science and those health science topics. We really like to think of ourselves as a companion resource to you. We know that you have standards you have to teach to. We know that you have curriculum that is provided to you. And so we really just like to come alongside of you and enhance and kind of fill in maybe some of those gaps that are there in your instruction. We see teachers utilize this in so many different ways. They might have students that use our modules for a building background activity or a pre-lesson activity. We have teachers that use uBEATS for homework. We have teachers that use it for students to earn badges and then put those badges into a digital resume or portfolio. So really, we're not going to prescribe how you have to use this. We'll leave that up to you since you're the expert. But we definitely don't want you to think that we are a full curriculum that you can put in your classroom and neglect everything else. We're really there just to support and enhance what you're already teaching. And then finally, anything that we produce, put into our course, everything we do is vetted by our university experts here. So when we build an e-learning module in any topic, we make sure to have 1 to 2, sometimes 3 subject matter experts that sit in with us and verify all of our information. We have our friends also at NCHSE that will verify our standards for us at the national level, and then also our state Department of Ed that will do that as well. So just peace of mind knowing that Deanna Ingram isn't just creating whatever she thinks is cool for health science. This is a full process that's vetted and checked for accuracy along the way. So part of uBEATS, again, is to help make your job easier. The more that I'm in this role, the more I'm constantly learning about how many of our health science teachers are not properly trained in health science education. We do have a lot of clinicians that come over and teach, but in Nebraska, at least, we have a decent amount of teachers that may be certified in an area that is not necessarily health science related, like sewing or a family and consumer science subject. And so we know there's a lot of anxiety there in terms of how do I teach this? What do I teach? And so again, we're here just to support you and help make this a little bit easier. One way we do that is in all of our modules, we have embedded a summative assessment of 10 questions. So every time your student goes through one of our e-learning modules, there is a standardized 10-question summative assessment. Those are graded at the end. So again, your choice if you would like to use those grades. Or if this is more just a warm-up activity. So we're not going to prescribe that, but that is available for you if you choose to use that. We're really proud of the work in the alignment of every one of our modules to the National Health Science Standards, and that's a huge thanks to our friends here, especially Cindy Lecoq, who I've worked with to ensure that all of our modules are properly aligned to those National Health Science Standards. If you're from Nebraska, this has also been done for you. We've had several states in the past few months, past year, that have also come forth and asked us to align your state standards to uBEATS. So if you're in the state of Alabama, you just have this done, so it's available to you. If you're in the state of Nevada, again, that's available to you. And so we just continue to try and make these alignments, so that gives you some time back when it comes to planning and prepping with uBEATS. Also, my whole job, again, I've said this word a lot already, but it is to truly support you. So I know as a teacher, I didn't always have building support. I know my administrators and instructional facilitators, all of them were extremely busy, but just peace of mind and knowing if you have a question or you need to schedule a Zoom consultation, you need ideas, whatever it might be, you have that support available to you. And then finally, this is one that really administrators like to hear, and that is that uBEATS is a COPA compliant resource, meaning we do not receive any student information. So when you decide to enroll your students into uBEATS, you will be given de-identified logins and passwords. And this is nice on our end because with being now in 50 different states, there are so many regulations and laws, and so that way we don't have to worry on our end about student information, and that also gives peace of mind to districts as well. So the topics that uBEATS offers right now, we've added 2 new ones here in the past few months, but this kind of gives you a look as to what topics we do offer. So within each of these topic areas, we have modules that fall under each of these. So we have cancer, genetics, pharmacology, pathology and microbiology, public health. Our newest is behavioral health. We have 3 modules in that area right now that focus in on resiliency and stress management. Our big area that we really like to focus on, and we are right now, is our careers in healthcare. We just recently added a module in there about careers and rehabilitation therapy. So that takes a look, kind of a little snapshot at OT, PT, and speech language pathology. And so just bringing that exposure to students to maybe a new healthcare career that they had not been aware of. But offer several in that area. Academic success, this would be things from growth mindset to how to optimize your learning, how to space practice, kind of those skill sets that students need to be successful. And then we listened loud and clear, especially from our NCHSE teacher friends, of what's an area that you really could utilize some support in. And we heard, again, loud and clear, medical terminology. We have several teachers here in Nebraska that teach this for an entire year. And I don't know how, if any of you do that, I don't know how you do it. So our hope is to come alongside and kind of ease that burden a little bit of such heavy content. So by the time we're done with this development, we will have over 14 modules in medical terminology. Right now, one of them is available. The second one is quickly soon to come out. And then Zuzi is starting on the third one. But this is a lot of content. And again, kudos to you if you teach medical terminology. I had no idea how much that takes. So anyways, that was one that we heard from teachers. Please help us, support us in this area. And so we are slowly but surely trying to do that. So as I mentioned, in early 2024, we launched digital badging. This is also known as micro-credentials. If you log on to LinkedIn or anything right now, you can see I just earned one from Google a few days ago. This is a whole thing. It's kind of taking over what we would have known as certificates and doing it more as a digital platform and a digital representation of your learning. And so we thought, why not try this with uBEATS? So As of now, we offer 7 digital badges, and this is through Canvas Credentials. So the badges that we currently offer are in pharmacy, dentistry, genetics, public health, infectious disease, and our 2 new ones in nursing and health careers. The way that this is designed is our team has gone in and we have prescribed 8 of our uBEATS modules that we think really cover a nice foundation of this topic area. So then we ask our students, please go through all of those 8 modules. Once they've completed those 8 modules, they then have to take a summative assessment, 30 questions, they get 2 attempts, and they have to pass with an 80%. So there is some rigor there in terms of they do have to pay attention. They do have to give it a good try on that summative assessment. But once they've done those steps, then they get access to their badge. And I am learning more and more that there are a lot of health science teachers that are also being tasked with prepping students for resumes and portfolios and all of those different pieces. And this is a really great step to do that. It just showcases the learning that the student is doing, going that extra mile. In the higher education world, these badges hold quite a bit of weight. And so even seeing that your student went and did all of this work in pharmacy, again, gives them just another leg up that they're serious about their health career pathway. Since we launched this in January, we have already been able to award 390 badges. That's not just Nebraska, that's across the country. And so this is super exciting to see that teachers are utilizing these badges. Students are earning them. I don't think we were prepared in the first year to have over 300, but that's super exciting and we're glad that it's useful. So now kind of moving into what does uBEATS look like? What does a module look like? Kind of give you a better understanding of what you and your students would see. First is I had mentioned this, but we are housed on Canvas. You will get a link to the Canvas course. Again, you don't have to worry if you're not a Canvas school. It's just our housing platform. Once you get in there, you'll have your login and password that I send you, and then here will be your home screen. This is where all of our modules are housed. If this goes down a little bit further, but there is a section for badging. So all badging, everything is right here on the home page, and your students can navigate from this. If I were a teacher and I'm assigning or I want students to do a module in, let's say, public health, students would simply just go to that section, click on public health, and then it will generate the titles of all of the modules in that topic area that we offer. So you can see the titles listed here. Also to note, on the right-hand side, we do offer teacher guides for every one of our modules. So these teacher guides, you can download them, you can print them off, but they're really for you in that they give you a little bit more in depth as to what vocabulary is going to be in the module, what standards this module covers, and then maybe even some extension ideas or other ways to utilize this. So every one of our modules does come paired with that teacher guide. So now let me play this for you. So this gives you just an idea of what one of our modules might look like. Some of our modules have animation, some of them have more real-time stock images. Just depends on what the developer was feeling or how they wanted to showcase this content. And so some things to mention, you can't hear it right now, but all of our modules do come with audio recording. So a lot of the content that students are gaining is actually from the audio. With that, you can see down there at the bottom, we do offer closed captioning for all of our modules. And then up in the right-hand corner, we do offer a printable transcript. So if you need those accessibility pieces, please, they're there. feel free to use them. In terms of the module itself, all are designed to be about 15 minutes in length. They're not timed, so we let students work at their own pace, but generally speaking, usually about 15 minutes for students to get through them. The way they're designed is we do chunked content. So we do a little bit of content, formative assessment, activity or question, a little bit more content, and then we move into that summative assessment. And you can see what that flow of the module, you can see that here in the menu. If we take a look here, this is an example of one of our formative assessment activities or check-ins. This is a drag and label activity for students. So they can go in, do this, and then you'll see here in just a minute, we do provide instant feedback for our students. So once they click here, submit, then you can see, oh, something's not quite right, give them a little hint, and then they can try again. We do this for all of our questions. So even summative assessment questions, they cannot try those again, but they'll at least get a teaching point to recognize why it was correct or why it was incorrect. Okay. So now we get to move into the fun part, registration. So if you're listening to this and you're saying, yeah, I think this definitely could be utilized in my classroom, then I kind of want to walk you through this registration process. It's easy, but just to make sure we're all on the same page of how it goes. So you would head over, and if you wait, I have a QR code at the end of the presentation that you can scan with your phone. But you will fill out a registration form for us on our website. And so there is some information on this page, just that will be your information. Again, we do not need or want any of the student information. But what I want to point out is down here near the bottom, there is a section that says number of uBEATS student accounts needed. I get a lot of questions of, is there a maximum? Is there a minimum? And the answer is no. If you only have 2 or 1 student that needs a login to uBEATS, that's okay. If you need 200, we understand that too. The only thing that we ask is just please be mindful. There has been several times where teachers get really excited about uBEATS and they want to sign up their entire school of 800 people, and I'm like, let's rethink that. So anyways, please feel free to sign up, but really be mindful of how many you truly will use and will need. There is a question on there about who you're affiliated with. So there's everything from HOSA to NCHSE to your state department. For this, if you sign up today, if you can just put NCHSE, that would be great. And that just lets us know how you heard about us. So then so how this will work is I will get an email that says your name, that there's a registration and how many accounts that you need. What will happen then is I go into our big bank of de-identified logins and passwords, and I pull that number for you, and then I send those logins and those passwords to you. This comes on an Excel spreadsheet. And the reason it's that way is because it is editable. So that way, if you would like to use that to type in your roster, to type in your class period, however you want to organize this, then this is yours to put on your computer desktop, hang up in your room, however you want to do that. But just so you're aware, you'll get that email, you'll get this Excel spreadsheet, and then you will see your course link to uBEATS as well as your login and your passwords, however many you requested there. Important to note too, just because I get a lot of emails about this, when you go to sign into uBEATS, it looks like it's asking for an email. that is actually where your login will go. This is the same for you with your teacher login as is for your students. So I have several teachers and students that will be like, I typed in my email, I put in my password, and it doesn't work. So then they're trying to do forgot password. It turns into a whole ordeal. And so I just want you to know up front, just ensure that you're using that assigned login for the email box and that assigned password for the password box. And I promise it'll make it so much easier.
Deanna, we have a
Yeah,
question in the
yeah,
chat.
what's that?
School strict about 2D compliance? Does it fit the criteria for 2D compliance?
I'm not sure what 2D compliance is, so that might be something that I need to look. I've never had anyone ask about that. So let me look into that, because I always say if there's something I don't know, it won't be the last time that question's answered or asked. So let me look into that, and I can maybe send out something, or if that teacher, I can't really see the chat right now, but whoever that is, if they put their email in there, I can always reach out and let them know what I find.
Okay, so Jody or Jodia, if you put your email there at the end, we will make sure that Deanna gets it.
And what,
So New York State thing to keep, it's like, sounds like student privacy. I was not familiar with it either, 2D compliance.
Jody, do you want to unmute yourself and just tell us a little bit about what that means? Do you think is specific for your state, or?
I think you will see that it's more than just particular for New York State. We have run into trouble even, let's say Kahoot for a while. It is now 2D compliance, but for a while, if we had our students working with Kahoot, it would have the advertisements, and it would say, if you want the enhanced version of this, you need to supply your email and, credit card and buy this, and for $5.99 a month, you can upgrade your use of Kahoot, things like that. It's just to protect student information, to make sure they're not getting into too much privacy issues with students and using the internet, or them giving bank accounts so their money can be taken.
Yeah, I will definitely look into that. I can confidently say that our modules do not have any advertisements, because we don't have any sponsors other than our anonymous donors, and we're not, based on our regulations with UNMC, we're not allowed to do that. But to actually have a statement for this compliance, I will definitely look into. If you're from New York, I do know that we've had a great relationship with their Department of Ed for a while, and we have actually several New York teachers that are enrolled. So I don't know if that helps, but I will definitely look into that, because like I said, you won't be the last person to ask that. So it's good information for me and for us to know. But yeah, I hope that helps, and I'll try to see what I can find.
Sure, thank you. And then
Yeah.
it's pretty easy for me to also to submit this information to our IT service, and they look into it as well.
Great. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. I appreciate any of those compliance issues. We know that it's not just one state. All states have different things that they need, and so we're happy to comply with that as much as possible. Great. Last thing I just wanted to share about here, and this is just taking place here in Nebraska, but I'm hoping it sparks maybe some interest in another way that you can utilize uBEATS. And so we are launching a pilot. We're in it right now, paving pathways for health careers. We have teamed up with our Nebraska AHEC. So if you're familiar, I know AHEC is involved with NCHSE, but our AHEC ran into a situation where one of their initiatives was to reach high school students, but the funding did not allow for that. And they weren't sure how they were going to reach high school students. And we said, well, hey, we're already doing that work. Why don't we partner up? So what we have done is we have we have 5 regions in our state. And so we have teamed up with all of our regional directors. All have agreed to this, which is wonderful news. But we are through that badging piece that I talked about. We are now offering job shadowing experiences through uBEATS badging. So let me give you an example of what this might look like. We have a high school teacher here in Omaha that teaches pharmacy, pharmacology courses. And so we offer a pharmacy badge. So if a student completes a pharmacy badge, then that teacher reaches out to their regional AHEC coordinator, and we have established those connections for everybody. Says, I have this student that's interested. And then AHEC, it will provide the HIPAA compliance, will provide the placement of the student for job shadowing. And so right now, this teacher has a student that is interested. They connected with our Omaha AHEC regional director, and now that regional director has set up for them a job shadowing experience in pharmacy at a local Walgreens. And so it adds value and currency to our badges, but it also really helps AHECs with some of their initiatives. And all in all, the student wins along the way because they're getting the content they need along with that hands-on job shadowing experience. So again, I only share this. One, I'm very proud of this work, but two, it's another way to think about uBEATS. If you have that connection with AHEC in your area, or you're wanting to look into AHEC in your state, this might be a way that you could say, hey, I have this free resource that offers badging. Would you be interested in helping me with job shadowing experiences or whatever that might be? So again, I only share that just because we're always looking for ways that teachers can utilize this. Other organizations, there might even be AHEC people on here today. I don't know, but regardless, it's just another way that we're helping pave pathways for health careers in our state. And we hope someday we can use the same concept in other states as well. So I know we're getting here close to time. I have a few things here as we finish up, and then also wanted to leave room for questions if there were any. First and foremost, thank you. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for your hard work. Our students really, really need teachers like you. And trust me, the work does not go unnoticed. So huge appreciation for you. Second of all, if you want to reach us, we do have a website. So you can see that here, unmc.edu/ubeats. We have some example modules on there that you can play around with, go through, see if it's a good fit. We also list out all of our module titles. So if you're like, yeah, I teach pharmacology and you want to see what specific titles we offer, head to our website. We have all of them there. And then we also are on social media. And that's a great way to just share out what's going on with uBEATS. If we have any updates, we try to share out our friends posts too, like NCHSE and HOSA and Project Lead the Way and all different kinds of people. So please feel free to follow us on there. And then just a couple other things. This first QR code does have 2 lesson plans for you. It follows the gradual release of instruction, but it gives you a really good idea of how you could use a module, but use it for whole group or use it for independent practice. So a couple lesson plans there. The middle one, if you're ready to sign up, you said, I want those logins, I'm ready to get going. Please feel free to sign up there. And then if you're also just thinking, I don't know, I'd like a little bit more time to kind of look into this, see if this is a good fit, you can also fill out our enrollment reminder, and then I'll follow up with you here in a couple weeks to see if you have any other questions or if there's anything I can talk you through. So that's all I have, but I did want to leave time for questions, or if there's anything I can cycle back through and talk through again, I'm happy to do that.
block. I have used some of the uBEATS, but I need to do even more. I love the looks of the additions that you have.
Yeah, I asked if anybody on the call or on the webinar, if they had used uBEATS, if they want to share any experiences. And so, Kathy, I appreciate you saying that. But if anybody else has used uBEATS or thinking about using it, but need a little encouragement, now's your time to speak up.
Yeah, we have 2-hour classes, so the 15 minutes, it's frequently good as an intro activity, like we do a very quick review of the cell before we do A and P. And I just taught that and I got set up my uBEATS. I'm like, darn, look at, they've already got it right here. That would have been perfect for me to use instead of my somewhat boring PowerPoint to remind them what they learned as sophomores. The only thing I would say, I would love maybe some longer lessons, but the 15 minutes is good for, I know a lot of people who have shorter classes. And again, the kids can do a bunch of lessons at a time.
Yeah, our current interim chancellor, this is his brainchild. He came up with this idea. We'll talk to him pretty frequently, and he'll constantly tell us that research points to that 15 minutes is too long, that students actually do not have the attention span to hold 15 minutes, that it should be reduced anywhere from 4 to 5 minutes, which is just crazy because I'm like, how do you put all of this content into a 4 to 5 minute module? But he likes to remind us that that's about the attention span right now when it comes to digital materials, in terms of content and learning like that, that 4 to 5 minutes is currently the sweet spot. So we have no plans of making them any shorter, but it is.
I think them looking at TikToks and Instagrams for so long, they've trained their brains to that's
Exactly.
their attention span. Yeah.
I am not yet well, I do have logins for all of my students, but this semester I've had all our anatomy physiology class, so I haven't really had time to be able to dive into it like I would have wanted. But in the spring, I have what we in North Carolina call the Foundations of Health Science class, which is the health careers and the medical terminology, and a lot of those modules that I can use. And I'm really excited about being able to dive into them way more in the spring.
That's great. And Melissa, too, by the spring, we'll have that careers badge out too. And so that's all of our career modules in one place. And then instead of students taking a summative assessment, we have a survey at the end, and then they can earn that badge. So if you specifically teach anybody on the call to careers or anything like that, that might be a really great outlet for you, because then students can work on it. Canvas keeps track of everything. And then once they are all done, then they can show you that and verify they've earned that badge. So just another option too, but that's great to hear.
Yeah, and we do create resumes and portfolios and stuff in that class. But I don't know that I know. So I know you said they go through the module, they take a summative test, and then is it going to kind of guide them to apply for the badge, or?
We have everything set up that once all you would really need to do is make sure they can get into uBEATS and then find that badging tab. And then everything else from there is really straightforward. And so there's also 2 videos that if you want to show students as they're getting started, there's 2 videos there, a why to do badging and then a how to. So those also get you started. But yes, once students can get into uBEATS, then it's all self-paced and will take them through the whole process really with it being hands-off for you.
Oh, awesome. Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I would encourage people also to check out there's some, I forget what they're called, but helping students at the beginning of the year of how to learn, how to study, how to organize yourself. Those are a great way to begin your year.
Yeah, those are our academic success modules, and we put them in there. We're like, this isn't really science, health science related, but it doesn't hurt. And so we put them in there, and they're actually some of our most used modules. And so I think that's great. I think, it's a nice way for teachers to teach those skills that are important to being a good student. So absolutely, I think that's a great way. Beginning of the year, beginning of the semester, just as a good reminder for students too.
Any other questions or comments for Deanna? Okay. So if you want to review anything, again, you can go and check out the video within a couple weeks and be watching for your certificate of attendance from NCHSE. So you can keep track of that for your professional development. And we thank everybody for coming.
I'll
Nancy, what's our next Wednesday webinar?
Yeah, it's next Wednesday. We're actually inserting this. It was to be our last webinar of the fall series, but there was a illness from one of the presenters. So the company is one of our partners, Aztec, and they were formerly known as Pass Assured, and they had a pharmacy technician training online program, and they've refreshed that. And so they're going to they have a teacher who's going to be talking about how she uses that in her as one of her courses for health science students. So that'll be next Wednesday, the 22nd at 4:00 Eastern time. And if you haven't signed up, we encourage you to do so. And thank you again for being here. And thank you, Kathy, for hosting. And Deanna, thank you so much. And we can't really tell you how much we appreciate you all have committed to aligning those modules to the National Health Science Standards, because that really is the framework that we use to build consistency throughout programs in the United States. So the fact that you have that front and center, that they're aligned to the National Health Science Standards, is a great marketing tool for us. And you've just been a great partner for us. We appreciate it.
Well, and we can't thank you all enough either. So appreciate you all so much, and I'm sure we'll be seeing
Okay,
you in the
don't
future.
get off yet. She
Okay.
forgot to brag about one thing that she told me when she and I signed on a little bit early. So I wanted you to tell them about how you completed everything today.
Oh, I think we're talking about my 50th state. Is that right? Okay. Yeah, so one of my goals for myself, for my evaluation here at UNMC, is I said by the end of this school year, I want to be in all 50 states. And so I was so determined to make this happen. And the last state I needed was Rhode Island. And I could not find anybody to help me out with this. And so yesterday, I just went on to their Department of Ed website. I found emails and I said, we're going to just cold email, and they need to know about this resource. If they choose to use it, fine, but they need to know. And sure enough, this morning, came in and there was an enrollment for Rhode Island. So we are now officially in all 50 states. And I feel like I can breathe because my goal is accomplished. But it was a good way to start the morning. So thanks for celebrating with me, Nancy.
And you're 5 months early
I
before
know,
the end of the
even
school year.
better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank
Hey,
you.
everyone. Thank you for coming, and we'll look forward to seeing you at future webinars. They're all posted on our website under healthscienceconsortium.org/webinars, and you can register for them through May. So have a good rest of your week, everyone, and we look forward to hopefully seeing you next week.